What's up, second channel? Before we get into today's video, I just want to say that this video was filmed during Labor Day. That's right, it was a few weeks ago, but so much has happened in my life and so many trips that I wanted to post those first. So keep that in mind. This was filmed a little bit earlier in last month. Also, one thing, you guys already know this by now, but I'm giving away the Supra. And if you guys haven't entered, I definitely recommend you do, because it'd be super cool to see someone that's an OG, someone that cares about the channel so much that they're subscribed to both the main and the second. So go ahead, get your entries in if you haven't already. And if you don't want to, don't worry, I'm not forcing you. Totally fine, I get it. But it'd be cool to see someone that watches the videos win this car. But now let's get into the video. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the second channel. This is a video that I've been wanting to make for a while, and I haven't found the time to do it. But today is Labor Day. We have enough time on our hands, so I figured I would take my twin turbo Lamborghini and you guys with me and my wife to go see where I used to grow up. And where I grew up, there are not a lot of Lamborghinis. In fact, I've never seen one in that area, and well, I don't think a lot of people that live there have either. So instead of taking the C7 or the Supra or the other BMWs, we're gonna take the Lambo. And I also think that's kind of a cool thing to do. And along the way as well, I'll tell you a little bit more about the backstory of why I lived there, who I lived there with, and all that. If you watched the one video of how I got to where I am now that I posted about a year ago, I explain a lot of stuff, but there are some other small details that I didn't say in there that are kind of cool about my life. So let's hop in the car, get some gas, and hit the road. Now there is one more thing I forgot to mention. I have my fly rod in the front. This car is so practical, you can put your fishing stuff in the front. But aside from that, the reason we're bringing it is because we're gonna be driving along a river, and we can't pass this river up without throwing a fly in and see if we catch something. So that's something we'll do when we get back, because right now it is way too hot to catch some fish. Now, where I used to grow up is a state called Montana, where a lot of people actually register their Bugattis, their Lamborghinis, and all that. Not me though. I'm registering them in Idaho. I might start registering in Montana and open up a business there, but we'll see. But that's something I'll figure out later. But yeah, we're gonna go to Montana, which is around 2 hours away. And where I grew up is a town called Thompson Falls. There's also a smaller town that I grew up in called Trout Creek, where if you blink, you miss it. So we're gonna try and hit both today. And I'll show you the schools I used to go to, and the sheriff department where my mom would drop me off to have visitation with my dad, all sorts of stuff that you guys either want to know or don't really want to know. And if you don't want to know, you can skip those parts, but this is gonna be a fun little adventure. $68 later, now we can keep going. I'm really curious to see what the locals think of this car when we get there. Shifting it funny, and that is because we did not get a new clutch yet. Kyle at Hurricane Motorsports is giving us some options, because there are a couple different clutch options we can go with for this car to have it shift normal, where I don't have to shift it like an Aventador. And we're also trying to get a billet second gear, because if you know anything about this platform in the R8s and the Huracans, the transmission is glass for second gear. And when you're in boost, pushing a lot of power, second gear will tend to go out, and that's not good. Which means you can't really launch these things, because first to second is so aggressive. So we're trying to get a billet second gear and a new clutch. The bad thing about a clutch too is the fact that it's going to take about 2 to 3 months to get here, which is gonna suck. So we gotta still baby the transmission, not go too crazy, but at least we're still able to drive this car. Also, the stator is getting replaced as well, because that's what we think has gone out, not the clutch. So we have a new stator as well to put in the car, and we'll weld it this time, that way it doesn't spin. But we're starting to get close to the Montana border, and the way I can tell is because I'm starting to see a lot more Montana plates. Okay, now we're getting really close to Montana, because our phones are starting to say SOS. Where I used to live, we like to call out in the boonies. because that's exactly what it was. When I lived over here, before my parents got divorced, my dad was a teacher, but he was also a hunting and fishing guide. So he'd take people hunting and fishing that didn't live around that area, and he'd take them to all the good spots so they could get a big deer, a big elk, or a big trout, or whatever they were out to get. So that's what happened when my parents were together. And once they got divorced, we moved from the small town that I said you blink and you miss it, Trout Creek. We moved from there, my mom, my brother, and I, and moved to Thompson Falls, while my dad moved a little bit ways further and just had visitation with us. And then once my dad got custody of my brother and I, we all moved out to a place called Denton, Montana, which is a whole lot farther than this place. And I didn't live in Denton that long, so there's not really a big point to show you that place. But this area, this is where I spent majority of my life before living where we do now. Here we go, Thompson Falls, 39 miles away. Well, we are getting very close. We just passed a hometown bar. It's not really a town, we're still like 15 minutes out. And that bar, I was just telling my wife, is where my dad, my brother, and I went for Thanksgiving dinner when he had custody of us during Thanksgiving. So, yeah, that's one of the little Easter eggs of my life. We're gonna go to the second house I lived in first. We're not gonna go to the first house because that's a dirt road and you have to cross a bridge that isn't really a bridge, and that house might not still be standing. So we're not gonna go to the first house, but we are gonna go to my first town. It's confusing. I'll explain as we go, but next stop is the second house I used to live in when my mom had custody of my brother and I, and that should be another 10 minutes out. Okay, we are getting close. We are on Cherry Creek Road. This road I used to train for cross country, and I would run down this road, and my mom was a helicopter parent, so she would follow me in her car, but she started a traffic jam by following me with her car, so she took off and I just kept driving and I just kept running, and I actually almost got hit by a door. I was running and I heard a car coming up behind me. I looked behind me and someone opened their door on the passenger side to try and hit me off the road, and I was hugging this edge. It was a traumatic event, that's why I still remember it. But up here, I think over a couple more hills, we'll be at my second house. All right, we're getting close. Should be coming up. The thing is if they tore down the house, I won't know where it is. Yep, that's the old house. That yellow one right there is where I grew up. But obviously it's not that exact house because they tore it down and made it something else. But yeah, that's where I grew up, that plot of land. And the sad part about that house is when we moved from my first house to that house with my mom, we couldn't have dogs at that rental property. So we had to get rid of my lab and my brother's little Jack Russell Terrier dog, mini dog. Nothing close to what Wraith is. Okay, now we're gonna go this way. This way is going towards the first town, Trout Creek. They have really good huckleberry milkshakes, and if this place is open during Labor Day, we're gonna get one. And then once we go there, we'll go back this way to Thompson Falls, because I know that house should still be standing. My mom passed away, I think 2.5 years ago now, 2 years ago, and we did sell the house. My half-sisters, my little brother and I, we did sell it, and we both made, and all of us made a cumulative like $8,000 a piece for the four of us. So if the new owners of that property didn't tear down that house should still be standing. If it's not, that means all my childhood houses aren't standing. From there, where that RV is, is where I hooked into the largest walleye of my entire existence. And I got it super close to the dock, and I saw that thing rip my line right in front of me. It was very sad, but that walleye was pushing like state record. I'm telling you, it was pushing state record. It was huge, but I lost it. Right here, this building, it used to be this store that Mennonites owned, and the best sandwiches I've ever had in my entire life. Like Subway style sandwiches, but they were on like this nice homemade bread, and then they tore it down. Now if you take a right down this road right here, there should still be a blueberry farm. And technically that was the first job I ever had growing up, was working at a blueberry patch under the table with my mom. And you got paid, I think it was 15 bucks a bucket. And they were like 2.5 gallon buckets or 2 gallon buckets. And you fill them up and you bring all the buckets over to the shop, and then they're like, all right, here's your 35 bucks. And then my mom would take half of what I picked and I'd get to keep the rest. Not the best money move on my part, but it was some money. Down this road used to be one of my friends' houses, and it was right after a baseball tournament, and I made fun of his long hair, and that's where the first fight I've ever had in my entire life took place. Nobody won. It got broken up before one of us could win. 2 cops, and they did not even see us. They're not even shooting radar. That's how small this town is. They don't even have to shoot radar. They can just see you. But here it is, Trout Creek, Montana. You know what? Actually, this is probably the one time a year the cops are out, because it is Labor Day. That's probably why. There's probably a bass tournament up here. But if you look, they got the auto service. I think that's the only auto shop here. Post office is still here. Took a few trips over there. I think actually that was one of the places where we would meet up with my dad when he would get visitation rights with us. And then there are 2 gas stations right next to each other. We have Sinclair and Cenex. And then over here is where the Huckleberry milkshakes are, and it looks like they're open. So we are going to make our way over here. It's the Trout Creek gift shop. Holy moly. Definitely changed out the layout a little bit. There used to be doors over here. Well, we got the milkshake and we got the ice cream. We're almost done with both because we got caught up in a conversation with these 2 lovely people, and the gentleman's name was Paul and I think the wife's name was Anne, and they were like, is that your Lamborghini outside? Because they saw my shirt, and I was like, yes sir. And he's like, what do you do for a living? I was like, YouTube. And they were so blown out of the way. That's what it's like here. Like if you told people around here that you did YouTube for a living, they would, some of them probably wouldn't even know what YouTube is. Now this is the childhood church that we went to every Sunday, and it's still here. Pretty crazy. And then if we go this way, you will see the old middle school that I used to go to growing up. And I actually did not know how to read. I was homeschooled until 2nd grade, and in 3rd grade I went here, and I didn't learn how to read until I went to school here. So that's something not a lot of people know about, is I couldn't read until 3rd grade. But yeah, my classroom was the center bottom right there. So pretty funny turn of events. Played football and dodgeball in that field. Life's crazy, huh? Life's really freaking weird. Now, of course, like most public schools, they took away the giant slide. There used to be a crazy big metal slide right there, and it went down, and they of course swapped it to the plastic slides. But this school is only kindergarten through 4th or 5th grade. To go to any other grades, you have to go to the next spot we're going to, Thompson Falls, and you had to go to school over there to finish out high school. So, yeah, pretty crazy. Okay, 20 minutes later, we are now back at Thompson Falls, and we crossed the big bridge to get here. So now, this is where I spent majority of my life that I actually remember all of it. You know, like the age 0 to 6, it's pretty spotty at any age to remember like what exactly happened in that time frame, but from 6 on, you remember that part of your life pretty well. So at 9 years old, I lived over in Cherry Creek, and then at 11, we moved here to live at the house that might still be standing. And then at 15 or 14 is when my dad got custody and we moved again. So I lived here for about 6 years, but this whole area, like I said, is 20 minutes apart, so more than half my life was in this area. Just past the post office, there's the fire department, there's the main bank, and we have turkeys crossing the road. There is the police department right around right there, and then this is the main stretch of town right here. Got Minnie's Cafe, of course it's closed because it's Labor Day, and we got the True Value department store. It's basically like an Ace Hardware, and that's pretty much it. There's a couple more stores. This used to be an Asian place and they turned into a burger place, and yeah, pretty much nothing out here. But this is where I grew up, and it's crazy that everything in my life lined up perfectly to where my job is this. Okay. We might have to engage the front end lift to successfully go up these roads. Yeah. You don't realize how bad these roads are until you come back and visit in a low car. When I helped my sisters move all my mom's old stuff out of the house after she passed away, we took the Camry. We didn't take any of the nice cars. So this is my first time in a low car on these roads. Here it is. It's still standing. I don't know if people are living in it though. Yeah, I don't think anybody's living in that house right now. Not crazy. Literally, you can see it. It's a mobile home converted into a house.
Next to a cemetery?
Yeah, I lived right across the street from a cemetery. Now, my two ways of coping through like all the crazy stuff in my life was I would run. All these streets I know pretty well because I'd run them all, and also I played basketball right there every single day. But yeah, I don't know who bought the house or what, but they didn't get it for much. They only got it for like 45K or something like that, maybe more. She had a lot of bills that we had to pay before we split, so maybe it wasn't that low. It probably was a little bit more. But yeah, this is the plot of land I grew up on. Grew up is a loose term because there was 3 houses. Yeah, I would love to show you more, but there's not more. It's just, I don't know what you guys were expecting. I didn't live in a crazy area, so there's not much more to my house than that. But over here is the middle school. So the middle school and the high school were separate from each other. The high school's gonna be down the road, and I actually never went there because my dad got custody of my brother and I, and then we went to high school in Kalispell for 1 year, and then in Idaho for the remainder. But here she is, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and I think I did have 5th grade here too. Thompson Falls Junior High. Over here is where I played a lot of basketball, and yeah, it's the middle school. Pretty freaking funny. This is what used to be my life. And there is the baseball field. That's basically it. Wait, there's one more thing. Down there is the football field and the track. And that's where I learned that I would be a track star. And yeah, that's how my track career started happening. Right here is where I ran my first mile, and then it ended over there. It was pretty legendary how I finished my first 1 mile race. And then after that, the rest is history. I became a sprinter, and yeah, I'll train. That's great. I'm not in a rush. And this was the lake that I would go fishing on a lot. Whenever I had time, I'd walk down here and I'd fish off the dock. Catch a lot of bass and a lot of pike. And some trout sometimes. And this will be the last place we stop until we go fishing. The sheriff's office. You know, a lot of people think that it takes some lucky parents to then allow you to have things like this. It's definitely 100% not the case. You just gotta work super hard and figure out what you want to do with your life, and hopefully whatever you want to do with your life can also have benefits like this. My friend and I talk about a lot. If I didn't make videos on the internet, I wouldn't have this car, even if I was making as much money as I do, because this is part of my business. So I'm very lucky that it is, or else I wouldn't have it. Life is weird and crazy, and I went from a household that maybe max made $40K a year together, and then once I got divorced, less, and now it's come to this. It's very cliche to say this, but you can do anything you put your mind to, and I'm not anywhere near where I want to be in life, and this is one of the things I'm at right now, which is absolutely wild. I gotta learn how to enjoy what I have too, because sometimes you get caught up with what everybody else does, and sometimes you'll be sitting in a Lambo and you'll wish you have a better Lambo. But a year and a half ago, I wouldn't even believe I'm in a Lambo, so yeah. You can't let greed get the best of you. You just gotta enjoy what you have too at the same time. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and go back to the river, back in Idaho, where I have an actual legal fishing license. We're not gonna fish in Montana, don't worry. And see if we can catch some trout. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in Idaho, and I found a sportsman's access. So this is what we call a fly rod. If you aren't educated, you are now. You know, I'm feeling this guy. I think it's just little ones. No big bites. And if I get 3 more bites, but they're just baby nibbles, we're leaving. Because this place just has sunfish.
Okay.
Yeah, I say we go to a different spot.
Okay.
We're losing daylight. Okay, this place is... Now I found that every time I go fishing and I'm filming it, I never catch a crazy big fish. Unless I'm out in the middle of nowhere in a really, really good spot. So, no promises that we're gonna catch anything crazy. No promises. Like, I can promise we're gonna try. Now I forgot to mention, this iconic photo spot might be on a road that may or may not be not paved. Like for now it's paved, but I gotta pay a good attention and not go too fast, or else we're gonna lose some expensive carbon fiber parts. But I think we can go up to 40 with the front end lift, or 39 miles an hour. So that's plenty fast for this road. Plenty fast.
You see that up there?
I found the iconic fishing spot. And I think we might be able to make it with the front end lift. I am not 100% though.
You see that?
I see it. And I went around it. Let's go. All right. Oh yeah, this is the spot. How's this look?
It's good. You can go a little more. Alright, that's good. Don't put that down.
I already put it down. But if you hear something or see something, no.
I don't think
Am I good?
Yeah.
It's down. It's down all the way. That was pretty cool. Well, I think we got the photo, but I don't think we're gonna catch any fish. It's already getting dark. I keep forgetting that we're on the tail end of the long nights and that it's starting to get slowly darker sooner. But we're gonna give it a shot. I saw a couple of fish jumping. I'm gonna give it a couple casts, but this looks crazy. It's way darker in my eyes than it is on camera right now because the low light in this thing's pretty freaking good. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a few casts. Can't even see my fly. I can't even see it. This is the second time I've gone out and didn't catch anything while I'm filming. Well, we made it back home in one piece. We had to stop at Texas Roadhouse to get some dinner because it's Labor Day, it's late. I'm not gonna make the wife cook, but yeah, it's crazy. We went from living in that area, being in that kind of situation, to now this being my life. Thank you. If you guys are watching this video right now, you guys are a big part of the reason why I'm here. And I'm gonna continue to be here and continue to work hard and continue to keep figuring out new ways to make good videos for you guys, that way you guys don't get bored. And yeah, I think it's gonna be the second channel video. Like always, if there's other videos you want to see on this channel, more laid back, fun, down to earth, go drop a comment and I'll look into trying to make that video. But this is one, I don't really think anybody commented about making a video like this, but this is one that I've always wanted to make, and well, we did it today. I'll see you guys next time. Drive safe.